All right, people, welcome back to The Radical Independent. My name is Dave, and I am The Radical Independent on YouTube. Yes, I have forsaken any one ideology, and I have decided the best way forward for me, and I believe for the country, is to not brand yourself as either a conservative or a progressive. I think what we need to do is find the best solutions to problems and implement those solutions and ditch the labels. Can we ditch the labels? I don't know if we can. I really don't know. And this is kind of like my last stand when it comes to politics, because quite honestly, I am fed up with the tribalism, with identity politics, with political correctness, with Russian collusion hoaxes, with we hate Donald Trump, orange man bad, therefore that's a policy position, and you better follow me as I go after Donald Trump because he's bad, evil, existential. He won because people knew that he wasn't establishment. That's why he won. Seriously, he was different. He was different. So my screen just kind of blanked out here because I'm waiting too long. Okay. This is a great quote. Andrew Yang, people. Andrew Yang. The Yang Gang. You know how I kind of wrote Andrew Yang off? Is I kept watching various progressives who were saying things like, oh no, he's into like the free market. Oh no. Now what are we going to do? What are we going to do now? Andrew Yang isn't one of us. No, he's not. He's actually very different. See what it says on his profile here? It says entrepreneur, founder of Venture for America. This guy, and he's running as a Democrat. Here's why he's running as a Democrat, because it's best suited to what he's about. But quite honestly, he could be a libertarian. He could be an independent. He could be a Green Party candidate. Is he too much into business for people? Do people hate business, big business this much, or just capitalism in general that much where they can't even take a look at Andrew Yang? Because you know what, folks? Here's the honest truth. I know there are a lot of people that like democratic socialism and think that's the way forward and so forth. Democratic socialism isn't really socialism. We tinker a little bit with certain areas of the economy, like with healthcare and wages, college education, to name three. But really, the government isn't controlling McDonald's and telling McDonald's, hey, you answer to us, we are going to go in and oversee your operations, we're taking it over. That's not what's going to happen with democratic socialism. So Andrew Yang comes along, and this is what he says. What is making things worse in America is a mindset of scarcity. Oh no, is he preaching the prosperity gospel here? If someone else is doing well, then I'm somehow losing out. Now this is a very libertarian principle. This is the pie isn't finite. Okay, the pie might actually be infinite. But we've been told that there's only so much wealth that can be created and that people can only prosper if, the government tips the scales. Now, I do believe that in certain situations the government needs to tip the scales a little bit to help people that just haven't been helped, who were promised help. I mean, you don't want to bail out a bank before you bail out a person. And you don't want to bail out a car company, again, before you bail out a family who lost their house or lost their car. How's that? You lose your car because you can't pay for it because the economy goes south. Instead of bailing out that person, you bail out the car company. All right. So these examples that I'm giving, pretty much what I would call perfunctory or pedestrian. They're not really hardcore. This isn't hardcore economics here. What I'm talking about is what he is saying here is that when you resolve yourself to the idea that the whole system is corrupt and there's no way around it, or there's no way through it, I think you limit yourself. I think you become very angry, very pessimistic, and quite honestly, this is what I see on the tribal left and now in some progressive circles as well. That it's got to be this way, there's no other way, we figured it out, you don't get it, so get with us, get with the program. The anecdote is a mindset of abundance. If you're doing well, that's great for me too. The question is how to generate an abundance mindset in more of us. Now, it's got 459 retweets. The people who are following Andrew Yang, these people can't be progressives. These people have to be way more open-minded, way more geared toward the future and tech, and not the complacency, not the same old ideas. This guy represents something new. He's a paradigm shift in and of himself. He is different. Here he says again, a mindset of scarcity is pervasive in a country where 78% are living paycheck to paycheck, and half of us can't afford an unexpected $500 bill. If you change that reality, you have a chance to reverse the mindset of scarcity that polarizes us and puts us against each other. Now, he's doing something else here which I believe is so needed within our political structure. He's talking about how the polarization puts us against one another because the news media or whoever says we don't have, and then everybody runs to the microphone and says we don't have, and these people don't have, and he's admitting that we don't have, but he's also saying that there's a mindset that sets in. Doesn't this sound kind of a little like, hey, you know, not to say that this is a God thing, but that old adage that God helps those who help themselves? I think there needs to be some of that. Again, you can't wait for the helicopter to pull you out of the boat. You have to work at it. You have to be part of the solution. You have to work with the process. So Yang here is maybe that phrase that a lot of progressives hate. He's keying in on a ruggedness, an individualism. Now, I know there are some people that have disabilities. There are some people that are just incapable of making that jump. And I think a good society still takes care of those people. And we have enough wealth, and the scarcity isn't as pervasive as it is now. All right, here another, and he made a couple of tweets here. Studies have shown that not being able to pay your bills consumes bandwidth and reduces functional IQ by 13 points. So, as you know, Andrew Yang wants to do UBI. UBI is Universal Basic Income. Now, what that is for Andrew Yang is a way to lift people up, lift their spirits up, say to these people, okay, I don't want you to worry as much. And he's saying that these people they'll literally get smarter if they're making some money, or they have like a backup plan. And he says the freedom dividend would make us more rational, reasonable, optimistic, generous, and more able to solve problems. See, there's a lot of psychology here, and I don't know anybody running for president that is talking in this language. And again, I love Tulsi Gabbard. She's still my number one. But this is some groundbreaking stuff here. It would also make car repairs an irritation rather than a catastrophe. Oh my gosh, have I been in this boat. Not recently as much, but from the age of 16 when I got my license up until maybe about 45, I would say the car thing is a catastrophe. It's like, what am I going to do? give more parents more time with their children, spur arts, creativity, and entrepreneurship. See, and that's a word, okay, again, this guy is like, he is, what do they call Bill Clinton? Like he was the third way candidate or something, which he really wasn't. Andrew Yang here he's a third way candidate. There's nothing stereotypical about Andrew Yang. And it says here, and have a myriad other positive effects on our way of life. Okay, so here's the bottom line with Andrew Yang. And you don't have to like Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang is not one of these guys who believes in just empowering the government to give money to people who need it. He wants people to be empowered themselves. And he believes that if you give them a little help, a little push, a little encouragement, say, here we go, freedom dividend, I don't want you guys to worry. And by the way, for those of you on the other end of the spectrum who still think it's not possible, it's not plausible to give out money to people, okay, I say we're giving money out to the military and the military machine in large quantities, and there's no freedom dividend. There's nothing to show for that investment. If you invest in people, at least you're investing in people, and you're not investing in something that is going to make the world a worse place than it already is. So I like Andrew Yang. I do. I'm liking Yang more and more because he's just, this is the definition of a radical independent person. All right, you may call it libertarian. I don't know. Again, libertarians aren't into giving money away. They're not. They're going to say, well, the free market will take care of everything. He's saying that, you need to do a little tinkering. You need to do some FDR on this economy, and then maybe it will actually kick itself back into gear. And he's not against, and this is another big thing, and Jimmy Dore doesn't like him because of this, and a lot of people have kind of jumped off the Yang train and said, no, I like Andrew Yang, but he's a free market capitalist. Oh, no! That's the end of Andrew Yang. So, in any event, I find his tweets here are just fascinating. And I think here's a candidate who could probably run a very decent independent campaign for president if he doesn't get the Democratic nomination. He's doing really well with fundraising. People believe in his message because there's hope, there's optimism, and he puts people at the center of that message. And he has new ideas and fresh ideas and things that nobody else is really bringing up or talking about. And he's also very futuristic, which again, we need somebody who's actually going to be navigating the AI and all the things that are coming, because this is going to be something I don't think we're all really prepared for. So again, Andrew Yang for president? Sure. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard is still my number one. But man, I would take Bernie, and I'd even probably consider Andrew Yang. This guy is different. He's got ideas, and he's got solutions to problems. And he's playing 3D chess with his campaign right now. So check him out. You don't have to agree with me on this, but I've come to the conclusion that Yang he's a real deal. He's different. All right, done. See you soon.